Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. You're listening to Tamika and Beasley. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Beasley and
Tamika.
And we are doing a new segment called Real Talk.
Yes.
Basically a segment where we keep it real and talk about our journeys and also trials and tribulations navigating this industry, especially in a new landscape in 2025.
Yes.
So, to start off a little bit about us, if you guys don't know me, my name is Beasley. I'm a YouTuber. I've been a YouTuber for 5 years, but I also do acting, and I kind of treated it as a part-time job, but I'm getting to a point where I kind of want to elevate it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I've been signed for roughly about, I want to say 3 years. I started in like 2020, like late 2021.
Okay.
It's hard to remember.
Yes,
but
those years kind of all flow together.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I'm Tamika, and I'm from Houston, and I've been signed for about 5 years, almost going on 6. So
dope.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, I'm the rookie on the All-Star team. She's.
This is not a rookie. Do not believe that. Do not believe that. When I first met you, I already knew. I was like, you know, when people are meant for this, you know, and you know when you find your people and what that looks like.
Absolutely.
And the confidence is what attracts for me. I'm like, this person already has it.
Yo, energy is everything. Oh my God. When we first met, it was literally the day after I got let go from my job. And I was just down, but you know, you got to put on a poker face. But, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you pushed through because I had no clue.
What was that commercial for again?
Was it Memorial Herman? No, Memorial Herman.
Memorial Herman.
Yes.
It was like, we were playing like doctors and...
Yes, so
like,
we're background. You know, sometimes you're background, sometimes you're the main character.
Oh yeah, doctors and medical students, I believe. You know, miscellaneous.
Yes,
but
you'll see our head, back of our head, and a little walk by.
My side profile.
Yes,
just
a
like
little run through.
My writing hand.
Yes.
And then they had us running upstairs.
Oh yeah.
For like
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For like 2 hours, 1 hour, maybe.
Yeah, they got their money's worth.
But yeah. So I will say, with me, I would say there's been like a lot of like up and downs, but before we get to the struggles, I want to talk about kind of like the positives.
Yes.
And kind of like why I started this journey in the industry.
Absolutely.
So starting off with me, to keep it real with you guys, growing up, I always felt like a loser. I always did. So
why?
You know, I was literally every single thing in the book.
Yeah.
Like growing up, I was fat, black, considered unattractive, and then gay on top of that.
Right.
You know, in the closet.
Right.
I was a down low bro, but at the
Right.
same time, you know.
Right.
But one thing about me, I was always not really seen and not really heard, but I felt like I always had like a lot to offer to the world, and I always had dreams and ambitions of possibly one day being on TV, possibly one day being a speaker in front of people. And I just saw me being in that limelight, being not even necessarily in the limelight. I kind of treated me getting into the industry as an outlet for me to finally be seen and to finally be heard, which is also the main reason why I started this YouTube channel as well. Beasley says, this is real talk, this is a separate thing, but that's my main reason for getting in the industry, because I was down on myself a lot. And I'm like, you know what? Let me step out on faith and try to find my confidence.
Absolutely.
So that's really the main reason I got into the industry.
You know, I was hard on myself growing up as well. You know, I didn't grow up with a lot of reassurance or positive speaking. I had a lot of more negative that was spoke within my home. So I think for me, it was already conditioned that before I stepped out the home, I was looking for validation in places that wasn't going to feed my soul. When I was in 8th grade, we had career day, and they had modeling as one. And I just knew I dressed up in my little finest. It probably wasn't at my finest, but it was my finest. And walked in, and the lady immediately told me no. So that was my first no. Yes. And I remember thinking, like, I am short. I'm not a typical model, but at the same time, like, there's prints and everything else. Oh, you should see.
Look at this.
I mean, look at you. So it's like, I feel like, you know, you have to grow into yourself, and you have to, you know, that self-love is everything.
Oh.
So when you get to that point, you know, I stepped out on faith as well. I mean, I had 3 kids. I'd been married, and I went through a divorce. And at that time, I was like, why not now? Because I might as well see. And I remember going to 2 agencies, and they both wanted to sign me. And I immediately got in my head that I was like, oh, no, I went backwards. I was like, this has to be like a trick. Like, why would they want me?
Oh, you backed off.
Backed off. I didn't, even after I signed, I still didn't pursue as hard as I should have. I kind of was really like timid. I didn't want to audition in front of anybody. If somebody was here, my kids were here, I still had that. I don't know if I'm sure.
I'm still that way.
Are you?
Well, you got to think. I started like peak pandemic, so I've only done virtual auditions.
Same.
Except for when I auditioned at the agency, that was the only in-person audition
Same.
I've done. Oh wow.
Same. So for me, I had no guidance. So like I do those little whiteboards. I write all my stuff down, my slate, everything they're looking for, and I just memorize it. I have to do a lot myself. You know, I get my daughters to help me, or sometimes I get, somebody else to step in and try to help. If they want certain angles or pull back the full body 360, and I'm not doing those in separate takes. It does help to have somebody, to help you, but it's also getting sure yourself to do that in front of somebody else.
Oh yeah, because you can literally, and if you guys don't know what a slate is basically where you like state your name, your height, like what agency you're with, blase, basically do like a 360 turn so they can see everything. That's what a slate is.
Yes.
And that actually, I want to transition into industry struggles because auditions is an industry struggle.
It is.
You will literally give your all to an audition, and then you can literally hear absolutely nothing.
Crickets.
Like, it's me, I was just doing it, just going through the motions, kind of just playing with it and seeing how basically just throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks. Yes.
Yeah.
No guidance whatsoever. I've only gotten feedback twice from my agents, and I had to really be on their ass to ask for it.
Right.
But that feedback really helps. And I will say the ghosting. Like, y'all think this job market is bad? This audition market is even worse.
Listen, it takes a lot of faith to keep doing it and getting back up every day and putting your all into something when you don't hear anything.
Ooh.
It's tough.
How often have you been ghosted?
With auditions? Yeah, not hear anything back. More often than not. But there's always that one job that you get that, for me, it was like Crest. When I got that one, I was like, oh, I'm doing a little something. Okay, I'm making a little motion.
Yeah, you got the pearly teeth already.
Right, and that was the first audition. I really talked to myself in the mirror that morning, and I was like, they chose you. They want you. Like, why are you walking around here still feeling some type of way or fearful or insecure about anything? Because at the end of the day, they could have been anybody else from that agency or any other agency in Houston or surrounding markets, and they chose me. Like, they picked me to audition. Like, it wasn't like I even put up for it. They went to the agency and found me. So for me, I was like, that was even more like that little person in your ear going, see, like, you meant for this. Like, why do you think you're meant for this? Like, this is where you're supposed to be.
And that's a struggle that I still have. I've gotten better at it, but the insecurities flare up too. Like, you can think that you're doing the damn thing in an audition, and then you either hear nothing back, or they'll be like, oh, we want you for background. So come on down, just be in the background, be in that corner, don't even be seen.
But you know what? I try to look at that background too, like, man, I'm not having to do much. It's a thankless job.
It is.
So, and you are still getting paid, but it's a humbling thing, but I think, it's still a job nonetheless, and you're still getting on set, and you're still being seen. And once you start working the room, I feel like that makes a huge difference, because when they see you again, when you're, casting for something else, they're like, I remember him, and he worked the room.
Like, this one friend of mine always says, you got to book the room.
Yeah.
Because I'll never forget, I'm going to go ahead and spill this here already. It was for Jim Beam. I think they were making like a pineapple version. I auditioned for it, didn't get it. But then 2 weeks later, they double back and like, hey, we actually want you to audition and do voice acting for the commercial. And I did the voice acting, didn't get it.
It happens too,
But at the same time, it's like they saw me. They saw me and they were like, okay, you got something there. Let's let's see what we can pull up out of you.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. Even with there's this one casting agent. Her name is Vicky Boone. Vicky Boone.
Yes.
Vicky Boone.
Vicky Boone.
Vicky Boone, if you see this, I love you, girl.
Hey,
because
girl.
she hasn't picked me from Nan job yet, but she always gets me into audition.
Yeah.
She always wants to see me audition. Like, I love you, girl.
Yes. I see plenty of Vicky. I'll be so excited to see Vicky. I'm like, let me go ahead and get this out the way.
Vicky Boone's gonna make sure you book the room.
Exactly.
But yeah, I will say, with me, this industry, being in it, has enabled me to really not only like strengthen my confidence, but find my confidence.
Yes.
Because even though I'm kind of still in the infancy stage, like I know I have something.
It's in there, yeah. And there's a reason why you've landed where you've landed. I mean, even for us to meet, and you know, in this crazy world where we're not having to do everything face to face, it's for a lot of virtual. So like when you meet people on set, that's your first time meeting a lot of people. You know, production can be very small or very big, and I feel like, you know, you get guided to creatives, and for me, that's iron sharpens iron. You know, I feel like you give each other ideas, you feed off each other.
Like that.
Yeah, and that's important, because when you talk to people who are not creatives, they don't understand your dreams. They don't see that as being profitable.
They don't see the whole vision.
Yeah.
Like they don't. A lot of people that aren't in this industry will focus on the right now.
Yeah.
And I will say one thing about being in this industry, sometimes it's kind of hard to see the forest through the trees because you look at your bills that are due.
The bills.
And that's one thing that we face is choosing passion over a paycheck when it comes to like picking our roles.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to lie to you. There was a time last year where things were just going fast. Like I was getting booked left to right, left to right.
Nice.
I got one job. That job got canceled. I was devastated. And I didn't book anything for the rest of the year. So it has you thinking. Sometimes you'll be put in survival mode and you just submit for anything. Just submit for anything and for anything.
Yeah.
Have you experienced that at all?
Absolutely. Where at the beginning of, you're like, is this worth it? And then you start realizing, you're like, well, there might not come job opportunities that few and far between. So let me just apply for whatever and see what's, like I said, throw what against the wall and see what sticks, and just hope that they pick you. And it's like, would I normally do background in Austin for 300 and drive all the way to Austin? But if I'm not in the room, how do people? I've had people ask for me even being background. And because I've been background, I've taken that, like, oh, I did another gig one day, and the next I'm main character. Next audition, I'm background, and I'm making way less. But at the same time, it's like, it's paycheck better than no paycheck. Like, you know, so you look at that and you're like, I'm not going to turn this down. Like,
it's still a steady movement, even though it's lesser than the role that you did previously. You're still getting yourself out there, and it's like you always have to stay humble.
Always.
You always have to stay humble, especially things can switch up in a minute. Like I said, that one job I was booked, it was ready, it was gonna pay a little bit over $3K. I was like, oh my God, yes. Got canceled the next day, the whole entire shoot. So it's just like you can really think that you're that man, you're that dude, you're that girl, and then it's just like the rug is just pulled from underneath you.
Yeah. You can be so sure about that audition, like, I know I landed that. Or that callback, where you're like, they've made you feel like, I'm going to hear from them. Like, I've had a few of those where I'm like, I know. And it's crickets. And then, but you hear from another actress you see that you might know, and they'll say, oh, I auditioned for this 3 months ago, and they finally hit me back. I thought that gig was kiboshed. And production, stuff always changes. Dates, because of the weather, or, you know, something else falls through. You know, there's so many stars have to align for that project to actually happen. So it's like when we're on set, you know, it's like we know it took a lot, like from the team, the production team, to the talent coming all together from all over, God knows where, and, you know, making this production.
Logistics is everything.
Everything.
And that's crazy. I've definitely had jobs where I auditioned and didn't hear anything. And I was like, okay, I didn't get it.
Right.
And then 2 months later, they're like, oh, we want to book you for such and I'm just like, what?
Right.
And then even I'm just like, what is this?
Right. You have to go back in your archives, like, wait, because you auditioned so many other times for so many other things. You're like, I can't keep up. Like, what is this for? Yeah.
I even had to ask my agent the other day when I recently just did like a little mini audition for Paul Mitchell. It was like a hair care shoot.
Yes.
I had to ask my agent, what is this for again?
Right.
And she didn't respond, so it's just like, oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, because you forget. I mean, like I say, we're always auditioning. I mean, if 2 auditions come in that day, you're knocking those out. You know, then you turn around tomorrow, it's something totally different. Like you might be on an office, you might be a tech, you might be, you know, somebody who needs to be cutting the lawn. All depending on what characters you need to play, you're running through this. You're submitting, you're uploading information left and right, and then they hit you for something that you auditioned for 3 weeks back. Like you don't remember
at all.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to auditioning, you got to make sure your energy is aligned. You got to make sure your hair is on point. For me, I mean, y'all can tell I need a haircut right now.
That looks fine.
Oh, thank you, Lord. But that actually leads me to the expenses. So when it comes to getting booked, yeah, you're excited.
Yes.
But there's a lot of things that people don't talk about when they're booked is the expenses to make it to that booking.
Yeah.
Because if you guys don't know, we're here in Houston.
Yes.
They don't really do a whole lot of jobs in Houston.
Yeah.
Majority of them are in Austin, and a good chunk of them are in Dallas.
Yes.
And then sometimes they will be in like New Orleans or New York.
Yeah.
And then on that job, it will say no travel, no lodging.
None.
So with me, for example, last week I did a commercial shoot in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
And it was pretty good. It was very quick, very easy. I just had to be at a barbecue.
Yeah.
But, you know, had to get a rental car.
Yep.
Had to get a haircut.
Yep.
And had to pull a bunch of outfits. So for you, what type of expenses go into you, especially with women? Because I know that's a lot different.
It is. I mean, well, since my hair's short, it's just really a haircut. Like I do my own color, but nails. I
Got
mean,
the Eva Marcel.
Yes, I mean, but you know, like most of the time they want your toes out. Like I've had several things where I've had to get my toes done, my nails done. You know, I got to make sure my makeup. If that on set they're not doing that. Sometimes they have makeup artists, sometimes they don't. You know, you have to bring a lot of your own clothes if they don't have wardrobe. They don't have somebody who can pull wardrobe. But you never know. You still have to always bring a little something, whether, you know, it's your actual pants, shirt, whatever. But I feel like for women, you have to have this. This is a must. And this can cost a grip. Like for me, I'm like, I need to make sure before I leave, I set my appointment right before, you know. And it's nice if they throw a little manicure because they want to see your hands. Sometimes I'm like, why don't they do that? You know, why don't they throw in a manicure cost already? Because they know they want to see your hands.
Because they want you to cover it.
Everything. So trust me. If I have a friend that lives in Dallas, she lets me stay with her. She knows I'm so forever grateful. Anika, I'm grateful. But when you have friends in the business, you know, it's like that's another thing. Like when you meet people on set, so you can cut those costs. Like we're in a car. Gas, hotel, yeah, all the things, and eating, you know, and
food, because I eat a lot.
Hello,
and that is a good bulk of my expenses.
Yes, because we gotta eat. You know, you gotta keep your energy right. But when you're on set, they will have food for you there. But when you are trying to get to and from, you gotta add all that up because then you take it out of your lump sum of what you're not getting for travel and lodging out of your actual pay after you pay your agent. They're 20%, and see what you got left over.
And speaking of pay, let's talk about how long it takes to get paid.
Hello. Because I'm telling you right now, some checks I'm still waiting on.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
I even reached out. I'm just like, hey.
Yeah.
Where's my check for my shoot I did last month?
I feel like harassed, but I do not care because bills are not going, oh, don't worry.
I feel bad because I feel like I harassed Gloria. Gloria, I love you if you're watching.
Yes.
But
Gloria and Jasmine. I know I wear y'all out.
I love you too, Jasmine.
Yes.
Yes. But I will say, I thought I was going to get paid this week from a shoot. And then she emailed me, she's like, oh, they paid, but your check is going to be on May 9th. May 9th. And I'm just like,
May 9th.
But my rent is due on the 1st. So it's just
Hello.
like,
Yes. Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah. How long, what's the longest you've had to wait to get paid?
I want to say right now I'm waiting on this check. It's going on 3 months. And this is the longest I've ever had to wait. And it's a pros and cons. Pros because you know money's coming in. So you know you're going to have it, right? Mm-hmm. But then the con is, I need the money now.
Okay.
And like you that commercial back in the day, it's my money and I want it now.
It's my money and I need it now.
I feel like that. Like, why am I working and waiting 3 months for a pay? I feel like that is criminal behavior, it feels like, because I feel like the people in production and stuff like that, they get paid a lot sooner. I feel like there shouldn't be.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they might be waiting a net 30, but I'm saying they have their probability of getting paid quicker. On the talent side, I've noticed since I've worked production, there's been times where I've waited for reimbursement gas money and I'm waiting for 3 months, and I'm like, hold on now.
Ooh, like the longest I've waited was about 4 months.
4 months, and that's a long time.
Mm-hmm. That's a very long
what,
time.
You want half a year wait for this check?
Yeah. And that was actually from my first gig. That I never even got to see. It's like to this day, none of the actors, the models on it have seen it. I reached out to them last year. I'm like, have y'all seen our photo shoot? And they're like, no.
Which I'm going to be better at making sure whoever I can talk to on set, I can get, where's the DP or wherever, I can make sure I get some information, because I like to see my work. I know about you. Like, I like to post and let people know, yeah, I'm out here making moves, and it's not, just because it's silent don't mean things aren't happening.
Yeah, because you also, too, want to use that for your portfolio. Yes. And I will say, making connections, especially with the people behind the scenes, can get you to get your content a lot quicker. I actually learned that on the last set that I did. I was just like, oh, well, that's how people are getting photos so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Mm-hmm. But the expenses and getting paid, like, that has been just a true struggle.
Yes.
And then also when it comes to expenses, like I said earlier, things could be on the high, but things can be on the low.
Low.
So, in order to stay afloat during the low, most of us got to get a side hustle or a part-time job. Now, me, I got 2 part-time jobs right now. I'm like the retail ranger at this point. But
not the retail ranger.
So when things are slow for you, if you don't, I mean, I don't want to get all the way in your business.
No, you're good.
But how do you stay afloat?
Well, I've been a hairstylist for over 20 years, so I also do hair. But there's really no limit for me, like, of what I'll do. Right now, production has been a really big deal for me. Whether it's PAing or producing, I don't care. Like, I'm really not above working any department. Like the art department, I've done it all. Like, and I know that the paycheck needs to get so I can pay these bills. I'm going to. Well, you need me. You need me to sweep. Like, got it. Like, my pride is not too big. My ego's not in the room like that when it comes to that. But I mean, I even thought about door dashing, because I'm gonna tell you right now. I will DoorDash. No shame in my game.
You know what? I tried to be a tasker on TaskRabbit.
Did you what happened?
Yes, I signed on and they're like, there are too many taskers in Houston. We are no longer accepting applications.
Not everybody trying to do it.
I'm like, damn, this economy is that bad.
But you see what's going on. Eggs is $10. Like, when I go in that grocery shop, I make sure I bring my boyfriend with me, because boy, this groceries ain't for the week. Like, you walk out with 2 bags and you're easily spent $60, $70, you know?
Oh, at the grocery store, I hate to admit it, but I've had to use that credit card because it's just ridiculous at this point. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, the credit card's gonna get you.
Yeah. And then I work out a lot, so I eat a lot. So my food bill is, I want to say, 3 times the amount that it used to be.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, growing up, well, with the time we grew up, now I feel like the elderly, like, back in my day, because how much was gas? How much was, houses, everything? Yeah, like, and being an actor, your contract, so it's job to job. Like, when you don't have a job, you are anticipate the next one. And what do people see when they say, what's next?
Yep.
And you're like, well, I've been auditioning. Just waiting to hear something back.
And people don't realize that auditioning is a part-time job in itself.
Oh, yes.
So in conjunction with working, like, let's say you have a side gig or a part-time job or full-time job, your other part-time job is auditioning and trying to get in that room and get seen.
Yep.
So that's like the hardest thing that can literally sometimes tarnish your self-esteem. But
because you gotta pick out the outfit. You making sure your backdrop look right. You make sure your lighting's good. You have to get into that mood and set the scene and do all of the actions that they're asking you to do, and that you might have multiple auditions, so you're constantly using your energy, whatever's left over from the day.
Especially if you work that day.
Yes. So your energy has to be up here. You can't look like you're about to go to bed. Like, they want to see you at your best. You want to give your best, and you want to get the audition as quick as possible. I don't like waiting till the last minute. I don't know about you.
Man, sometimes I can get it out quick, and sometimes I be pushing it. Like, sometimes I will literally get it out like 2 hours before the due time. Like,
it happens.
Because I just be tired. I just be like, oh, like and sometimes I'll even do my auditions late at night. I'm talking probably like 10 to probably like 2 a.m. Yes.
Oh yeah, 2 a.m. I am rubbing my feet together a long time ago.
But you see, I'm a night owl though. So sometimes I can be like, I get a weird random burst of energy. I'm like, let's do it, let's film.
My friend here is younger than me, so.
I feel old though.
Tell him your age.
32.
43.
Does she look,
and no kids. 3 kids.
does she look 43?
Thank you.
Listen.
Like, I look like what I've been through.
You don't look a day over 35, honestly.
Thank you.
Like, I would have thought older sister, literally.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a big sis.
But speaking of going back to humbling ourselves, so we both actually worked in production.
Yes.
I did it very briefly. She's done it professionally. I'm going to go ahead and get mine out the way.
Okay.
I did production for LL Cool J. That was my first entire production gig.
That's dope.
And he came out here. He did an album release party for his last album. I don't think a lot of people listened to it, honestly. But it was a great experience. But when I tell you, I developed so much respect for production people, because that was the most strenuous, hard work I have done in my entire life. And I literally grew up on my grandpa's ranch doing work, cutting grass, and if I got in trouble, he would have to make me walk the perimeter and come back with a switch. But when I tell you, you guys, we had to build his entire set.
Oh, yeah.
We had to unload a truck and then literally take it all the way down to where,
Yeah.
And then literally we worked I was there from 10 a.m. to 4 a.m.
Yeah, the times can be brutal, but the pay.
Oh, the pay was good.
Amazing, because the overtime.
Thank you, LL Cool J. Because to make, that was like, I want to say about $600 for one day of work.
One day. But you can't find that anywhere else, especially with, I mean, you degreed, and after you moved up in a company or whatever, maybe you're making that, you know, if you're big time. But to start to be like where we're at and to make that in one day, you kind of look at it like, it was a lot of work, but.
When I tell you that next day,
you weren't no more good?
I couldn't move. I didn't get out of the bed until probably 3 p.m. I shit you not. I was just like in a coma. I was just like, I was like, that was the most sore I've ever been in my entire life.
Earned that check.
Oh my God.
Every penny.
But in terms of working production, Tamika's well seasoned in production.
Yeah, I am.
So what jobs did you do in production?
Oh my gosh. You want the hardest job or just jobs in general?
We can start, all the above.
Okay, so I think my hardest job was actually when I was a story producer, because it was the first time I was a story producer. So I worked in the field, listening to IFB and having a walkie-talkie and trying to carry on conversations. I felt overstimulated 100% of the time. I like to where when I come home, I didn't really want to talk to anybody. Like, I was like, and you had so much work to do once you got home. So when you're a PA, when you are out of it, like, even though you carrying heavy stuff, you're hauling, like, I did 40 dates and 40 nights. I only did one day on there, and I remember I carried some of the heaviest equipment. I was breathing so heavy. I know that they were like, is she okay? I was like, this is for a man. I am too cute to be, like, I keep telling myself I'm too cute for this, like, and I don't want to seem like I'm not a hard worker, because I am, but I never want to put myself in a position where I'm hurting myself either, you know. I'm like, I ain't trying to prove nothing to nobody, you know. If I ain't got it, I ain't got it. But that day I drove a truck that I felt like was too big for me. I prayed the whole way there, the whole way back, dropping that truck off, and I mean, I clipped the curb, but everything was cool. I thought to myself, this is above me. I can't can't. But I was only making $250, but I was happy to make that $250, and I had to hound for that $250. But I was happy to get it. Okay, let me tell you something. I am a bill collector if I need to be, but being a story producer taught me a lot of discipline. So it's not like I regretted the job. It was a lot, and I think that people, like you said, respect. It's a lot of respect goes into people in production and them making everything happen behind the scenes. Like now I know a lot of positions that people play, the coordinator that I've had to help play. Like I've done things where now I know people who on set what their job title is, and when I'm the talent, I'm making sure that I'm respectful of these people and that they understand I get it, and I'm appreciative because it takes a lot of hard work from everybody.
Oof, I learned that day. Like, that was ridiculous. But, I will say, I feel like women are a little more organized on production sets than men. Because the little set that I was on, we had like 3 women over us, and they were literally just like on it.
Yeah. And
it ran really smooth. The hardest part was just lifting and carrying everything down like 30 flights of stairs. Like that was...
30 flights. No wonder you lay in the bed.
Oh yeah, it was in I forgot. It was in this stadium, and they had like a nightclub at the bottom of it. I forgot the name of it, but that's where he had his set. Like we set up everything down to the chair that he sat on.
Break down and bring it all back up.
The whole stage, the photo booth area, his little memorabilia wall. Like we had to carry that, assemble it, and deassemble it, and carry it back up. So
it's a job.
Oof.
No, I mean, you can't go home, you can't wrap until everything is done.
At all.
Yeah.
So that brings me to our tea segment of today. So if you guys don't know, this man by the name of Relly B, he posted a series of tweets. Now, if you guys don't know who Relly B is where the money resides. Where the money resides.
Where the money reside, where the money reside, where the money reside, where the money reside.
So if you guys don't know him, also after that viral fame, he went to go on and be on a Zeus Network show by the name of Bad Boys. Bad Boys was the guy / gay version of the of the baddies. Yep. And the tweets that he posted were, "My chest is burning so bad. I auditioned for one of my favorite Netflix shows. I got accepted, and then shortly after, I got denied. Their reason was due to television shows you participated in the past, deemed you to be a liability for the show and the network." And then he went on to say, "Yeah, excuse me while I scream." Now, if you guys don't know what Zeus Network is VH1 on crack, basically.
Pretty much.
And there's 2 things I'm going to talk about. If you guys don't know, Tamika right here actually worked in production for Zeus Network.
I did, y'all.
So go ahead and give us a little tea, because I know Lemuel's probably...
He ain't think about it, child. Listen, I was a PA on set, but I learned that their call sheet is just a preliminary, so it's not like you said, you can go to 4 in the morning for a set, but that is very likely on their sets that you're going to go late in the mornings, that there's a lot of fighting, a lot of unnecessary, unprovoked fighting that they are looking for, and the set is not as it's not conducive for somebody who's looking for what I'm looking for in acting, or in producing. Like, I like professionalism. There's a lot of that lacking. When you step on set and people don't address you,
Don't address you,
but they dress you. It's like you're more, this is a meat market situation, and when you're in production, you're working with somebody for long hours. So, people are looking for an easy little relationship. When I worked for Zeus, I was like, this is not for me. This is not how I get down. When I go to work, I like to do my job, get my check, and bounce. When it comes to the vibes are off, the energy is not right, people are doing things, and the paycheck can be the motive, but at what cost? Because I personally don't use them on my resume. I don't need Zeus to...
Do they pay well? At least?
They do. They pay well. But it was just not my lane. It was not going to bring the growth that I'm looking for in my career. and it's not that's not something I want to associate with in order for me to look like I'm solidified in this production world. You know, I'm not looking for that type of. I want the money, but not what comes with this. You know, it's too costly for me.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Yeah, like I think that when you go on set, you want a level of professionalism that you feel like you're going to be able to do your job, get it done.
You want to feel valued too.
Yeah.
Because like we said, it's hard work.
It is.
What shows, if you don't mind saying, what shows did you do production for on Zeus?
Baddies. It was a Baddies Houston. Yeah. So that they were out a mansion, and those girls I saw. When I say that one girl had this knot on her head so big, it sat off about that big. And when I say every time you pass her, you just like, oh my God, like you have a medic on set because blood's flying everywhere, people missing teeth, and I just don't think that the paycheck they're getting paid is worth it either.
She said missing teeth.
Missing teeth. I mean, a lot of times these girls are eating potato chips and noodles and fast food, and they're having any quality for them. I feel like, you know, for longevity, like where are they going to be able to go? Like he said, once you do a background check and some people start seeing who you're affiliated with or how you get down, how do you proceed with that? How do you go forward? How do you clear your name from negativity that comes from that?
Reputation
is everything.
Reputation is everything.
Yes.
And speaking of Relly B, I've actually not officially met him, but I've been like in his presence before. Like I saw him at a nightclub and he was in my section, and then also like seen him in passing when I worked at Saks. And he seems nice.
Yeah.
Pretty talented individual. He has like a presence. But it's like you're on this show and you're not really living up to your full potential and basically showing your ass. It's kind of just like, I feel like a lot of people don't really think about the long term.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have for people that are trying to get into this game that may have something that's not so bright in their past? Because we all have a past.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, the actions are everything.
They are. I feel like that's what plays a part in it. Like you have to show actions going forward, how you want your future to look. I mean, like you said, everybody has a past. So whether it's negative or positive or, you know, in between, it doesn't matter. If you are showing the growth, I think a lot of people will give you grace and give you that chance. But if you still teeter-tottering and being like, well, I still need a paycheck, so I'm still bounce back to these same old ways, people are not going to want to hear from you. Like nobody's going to continue to give you grace and allow you to make that decision and then bring them down with you. You know?
Yes. So. And I get it because at times, especially during this economy, I know it's hard. Sometimes you are faced with the decision of sacrificing your passion in order to get a paycheck, and then that clouds your judgment for the long term. And then you have people that come into the industry and things happen so fast to a point where like they're just taking each and every deal because the money's coming and coming and coming, and you don't know when you're going to get it again. So my advice to people trying to come in this industry is really come in with a game plan. No matter how long it's going to take to execute, just figure out like what you want for your image and what you want to put out to the world. Because a lot of people come in and they don't expect things to happen quick. Like quick. Like even when I came in, things happened quick. Came to a halt. But things were happening quick, and I'm just like, wait a minute. Let me step back just a little bit so I can kind of like map out the type of roles that I want to do. Because for me personally, I want to get into more like speaking roles. I feel like that's where I will shine a lot more.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, I'm tired of doing like pantomime type of auditions, just doing like random smiles, looking awkward. Like I want to talk and like emote, you know? So
I mean, even though the ones that don't, you have to talk, it's like, you know, they say thankless jobs, like I'm gonna make this paycheck, I ain't gotta say nothing. But only way to have growth is if you do things that are challenging you. I mean, I get the ones with a bunch of lines, I get scared for a little bit. I'm like, oh Lord. But you do what you need to remember those lines, and once you realize you're capable of doing it, it's like you get hungry for more, you know? Like, I want the next big project.
Oh yeah, because even like my first audition where I had to like It was actually a callback. I had to read lines in front of like 6 or so directors and all that, and I killed it.
Yes.
I didn't book it, but the one thing that one of the directors said to me was, "That was great. This is exactly what we were looking for." And I was just like, "Oh."
Yes. And when you hear that, you're like, "Stroke my ego."
Confidence on a 10.
Yes.
But then the next day, my agent was like, "Oh, you've been released from the project."
When I get those released, oh, the shit! I'll be like, I have to sit on it for a second. I don't want to tell nobody. I'm like, I just knew that was gonna be me.
And if you guys don't know what that term is, like release means like, thank you for your services, basically.
Yes.
Like
You can find something else to do on that day. You are no longer needed. Yeah.
So crushing.
Beyond.
But I still felt good though, because that was like the one time I got like instant feedback.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm still doing a little something.
Yeah,
I ain't getting
Make
paid,
some motion.
but I'm still doing a little something.
And then see, when that person does see you the next time, it's like even more like, oh, let's get him, because I realized last time he was good. But and you might not book something. It has nothing to do with your performance. They might be looking for somebody with blonde hair. They might change their mind. They want somebody who's shorter than you, or somebody who's way taller than you, because the counterpart is going to be tall, or whatever. There's so many reasons that go into it that we never find out about. So we can get in our heads about it, like, well, what did I do wrong?
And then really, in reality, it's not just about you.
Yep.
It's really just about like what's best for the whole entire project.
Yes.
Because you could be like the most talented, like on the level of like Angela Bassett, really like killed it, but sometimes you just don't fit that exact project.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I think with Vicky Boone, like she likes to see me audition, but it's like I don't really fit her projects yet. So
Right.
that's just where it is.
But there's something coming up, because she keeps putting you in the room, so that's important.
I forgot I don't know why his name escapes me, but I actually did like a one-on-one session with him, a good friend. His term is book the room.
Yes.
Don't get in just thinking it's just like a miscellaneous audition. Do enough, do a lot to make sure you book the room.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, I guess that's the end of our first episode. Oh, I'm so excited.
Listen, this has been a long time coming, I feel. I feel like, we have what it takes in order to make our own motion with our own content, as well as do what we need to do outside and acting, but also this can kind of be a treat for everybody else, because there's so much things you don't know about acting and modeling and behind the scenes that we can always share with you guys, so you can understand and have a true appreciation for the art. And
I also want to do this to help people that want to enter this industry get ready and be prepared, especially so when they're coming in, they're not just completely blind like I was.
Yes,
honestly.
same.
Yeah, because I literally was just learning as I went.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And feedback is everything.
Yeah. Wing and a prayer. Wing and a prayer. You hear me?
Yes, but I'm Beasley.
I'm Tamika.
And Tamika, where can we follow you?
Oh, Tamika _production on Instagram.
On Instagram.
Yes.
And I, on Instagram, Prince Beasley. Prince _ Beasley. I always forget the underscore. But yeah, this is Real Talk with Tamika and Beasley. See you guys soon.
Yeah.
Time can't erase